We're live.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday to everyone out there in Facebook land and YouTube land and website land and what's that other one we're on?
Twitch?
Twitch land, all that stuff. Hopefully you get a little itch. Get on Twitch. Follow everything we're doing here at the Grindhouse Radio. That would be appreciated. What do you call it? Basically, if you are new to Truly Inconsequential, Mr. Greer and I, we do this little thing where we argue the most inconsequential characters in pop culture history. This week, we're doing something a little bit different. Since we're getting into the holiday spirit, we're going to be arguing classic films. Which classic film is more consequential to the Christmas spirit, all in all? Basically, something very different. We were like, should we do it like this? Should we not do it like this? What should we do? And we figured, you know what? Why not try, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've done it once before where we did an entire movie. Chrissy, thank you for the like and the share. Where I think we did an entire movie or we did a show or something like that. We did something more than just characters once before, and
yeah,
I guess it worked.
It worked. It's a little different.
The problem is when you're talking about Christmas movies, like there really aren't many Christmas characters within Christmas movies that are worth arguing about like that. You know what I mean? Like. We ran down the list of them, and it just nobody's really going to care about a specific character in a lot of these movies. It's more of just
the overall movie in general.
Yeah.
We did debate. We talked a little bit about maybe doing Zero versus Max. So Max from Grinch and Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah,
but it's like they're so. Even that, it's so obscure and so, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not even that big of a, it's not even that big of a debate, you know what I mean?
It really isn't.
These, at least, are these are two, iconic Christmas movies. I think one more so than the other, but we'll see where that goes in a minute. I don't know. I mean, A Christmas Carol's probably, I don't know how many times that movie's been done in the, over the years. And then, It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, It's a Wonderful Life has inspired so many things within like television and even cartoons that if you don't know if you don't know It's a Wonderful Life as a movie, you will have absolutely seen an iteration of It's a Wonderful Life in some way, shape, or form with you watching any form of like television or media.
Fair enough. I'll give you that. What do you call it? And before we go any further, as Mr. Greer, you always say.
Oh, yes. Please, guys, if you could, like Chrissy did just before, like, share, comment on the streams. All your interaction helps more people see us, more people join the debates, and, come have fun with us. That's all this really is. It's just fun.
It's fun. What do you call it? Even though Mr. Greer is a little under the weather, so bear with him.
Yeah, if I sound nasally, it's just because I'm getting over a cold. Not COVID, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But it's just a little bit of a cold that I've had for the past week, and I'll be fine. I'll be fine by tomorrow.
It's so weird seeing you under the weather, though.
Albert Finney, Christmas Carol, all the way. My favorite movie growing up. It's a great movie. My favorite iteration of A Christmas Carol is definitely The Muppets Christmas Carol. But it's a great movie. Christmas Carol is a literal classic movie.
Well, here's the thing, and again, so when we were debating on prior to the show what we're gonna argue against, I mean we had Elf was thrown in there, Nightmare Before Christmas, The Grinch, all of these different A Christmas Story, all of these big now iconic holiday films, and we were like, all right, well, what are the two really, really big ones that are like two of the oldest ones that we can kind of throw up against each other that did make a difference? And it seems to be that It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Carol are two of them. Here's the thing, and this is where I'm going to start my argument. Over the years, there have been so many iterations of A Christmas Carol, The Muppets. What do you call it? The Scrooged. You know what I mean? Like, the list goes on. They did. Hell, they even made Uncle Scrooge McDuck. You know what I mean? Uncle Scrooge off of A Christmas Carol. And they just continue to make it. What was it? The other one I saw, I was like, I didn't even know Jim Carrey made a Scrooge movie.
No, yeah, it was a Christmas Carol. Well, they did a cartoon Christmas Carol. It's probably like 10 years ago at this point. But they did that a while ago.
Maybe I knew that. I don't.
They've done Disney's done their version of a Christmas Carol, like you said, because we got Scrooge. I even would go as far to say as you might not have. I feel like Elf is a modern day version of a Christmas Carol.
I can give you that.
Buddy's dad is Scrooge, and they're trying to show him what it's like to have the Christmas spirit and get him back into the jolly graces because he's been on the naughty list for all those years. Granted, it's not obviously it's not the same exact movie. There's not Ghosts of Christmas Past, Future, and Present going to Buddy's dad's house to do all this to prove to him why he needs to get into the Christmas spirit. But I think there are commonalities between those two movies, but no, A Christmas Carol is one of the most popular, if not the most popular Christmas story. I mean, you're ever gonna hear or see. Chrissy says Melissa had me watch the Muppets one. 'Twas very good.
I like the Very Hood. I actually like that.
The Muppets one was the best. Actually, what's even crazier about that, what makes you appreciate that movie even more, is the fact that oh my God, what's his name? Oh my God, he's played Scrooge in the movie. Michael Caine. Michael Caine played Scrooge in that movie. Mm-hmm. He had to walk on basically 2x4s throughout most of the movie because the stage was elevated because you had to make room for the puppets.
Oh, okay.
So he was basically walking on balance beams.
Really?
Throughout the whole movie. So what's crazy about it is you never see really him look down at what he's like, because if you're walking on a balance beam, you're initially going to look down and make sure that you can keep your balance and you can see where you're walking. He didn't do that. He walked like a normal human being. Even though he wasn't walking on a level ground, he was walking elevated on on strips of wood.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
I know it makes that movie that much more impressive because I can't believe Michael Caine can hold his character like that, do so well, but also have to consciously say to himself, "I'm not gonna fall. I'm not gonna fall."
I think you just like it a little more because wasn't he Alfred or something in Batman for a hot minute?
Yeah, but I was like well before that.
Just kidding.
I loved it more because it was the Muppets. But no, I just A Christmas Carol is just such a. It's probably the most. I would have to probably say the most popular Christmas movie or Christmas story that there's ever been.
But which you also may or may not even know the name of the original movie, A Christmas Carol. I didn't. When you'd said it, I said, "What? Which one's A Christmas Carol?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm not thinking about it. It's not like the more modern ones, A Christmas, A Christmas Story, even though that's old now too, or Elf or whatever, where it pops in your head. I think of it when I think of that movie. I think of Scrooge. You know what I mean? If you say Scrooge. 10 Ways from Sunday, I know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The different ghosts and blah, 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 blah. But what do you call it? But that's because it's been done so many times, and the story has been told so many times. Ebenezer Scrooge and what's the little man, the little guy? Tiny Tim. You know what I mean? Didn't Robin play it, Tiny Tim in the Muppets one? Robin, Kermit's... nephew?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he absolutely did.
We call it, and again, I think they even did it in Warner Brothers. You know what I mean? It's like
there's been
done so many times.
It's been even done in cartoons. Like just you've seen A Christmas Carol as a common theme within the Christmas story.
So I truly believe that if you plucked out this movie from the holiday season. You know what I mean? You'd be missing a lot. There would be a big chunk now. Maybe something else would come in and take its place. But I think that at the end of the day, there's been so much that's been done with this movie over the years that if you plucked it out, the holiday season would be different.
And I think it's also not even just that. And I think it's just a movie because we're gonna get to It's a Wonderful Life in a minute. I have an interesting argument on that movie. It fully embodies the I feel like Christmas Carol embodies the entirety of Christmas. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole movie is about how special of a time Christmas is, and getting this one incredibly wealthy rich man to realize just how important and big this holiday really is. So it's really just trying to spread the joy and the magic of Christmas time.
Right.
I always felt like it was like Scrooge was like when was like a figurehead for when you got older and became an adult, and you have to go back and like look and reminisce and see why Christmas was as special and as fun as it is. Because when you get older, obviously, become an adult, Christmas isn't as magical as it was when you were a kid.
Well, things are spoiled for you.
Yeah, things are spoiled. You have to worry about, you worry about the stress of having enough money to buy people presents and what you're going to get people. It could be a very stressful and hectic holiday.
You find out that Santa may or may not necessarily be real.
Shut up. There might be kids watching or
No,
kids listening.
I didn't. I said may or may not, and I winked. Nobody knows. Said may or may not.
I personally think it does. I feel like Christmas, growing up, Christmas is really magical when you're a kid.
Of course.
It gets a little less magical when you're an adult, up until you get to the point where you're a parent, and then maybe the magic comes back a little bit because you just get to make a kid happy. Your kid happy.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I'm not a dad yet, obviously, but
I enjoy. Listen again.
you're Jewish, so
I'm Jewish, but we do have our tree and we do celebrate it. In the house. I mean, Danielle's father is Puerto Rican and he's Catholic. Even though he does celebrate all the Jewish holidays, and then my kids are they are halves, even though they were brought up Jewish. My ex was Protestant, so she was Christmas with her and her family. But at the end of the day, so we do it. What's right for everybody. And try to enjoy and just embrace the spirit of the season. You know what I mean? And, which I think is a nice thing, and it's extra good for the kids. But even that, we try to keep the, with Santa Claus and all this other garbage, you know what I mean, that's been force-fed throughout the years, but we try to make sure that the kids have a really good holiday. I try to give them, and Daniel and I try to give them the better presents for Hanukkah, in all fairness, because we want them to be proud to be Jewish. But or at least I think that it's cool because they're getting better gifts for that. But they do get plenty of gifts, and the tree is full and so forth. But I think when you get older, it's it comes to a point where you realize that the holiday and that the Christmas and the holidays in general were so magical and so good because you had parents who loved you so much to make it magical for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's where it, you know what I'm saying, where I think the difference, changes, and just like you said.
But that's what I mean. But
you have to go out and you have to buy stuff and
and that's where I think A Christmas Carol encompasses all of that within like the feeling of Christmas, because you are Scrooge in a sense of you do get to a point where you're Scrooge, where you're down on Christmas. You don't really like it as much because a lot of the magic's been stripped away.
Yeah.
You just need sometimes that outside force or that outside help to just bring you back in and realize exactly what makes Christmas so much fun and so special. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So I think A Christmas Carol is just it's bigger than just the movie itself. It's literally the entire spirit of the Christmas season is put into that movie specifically.
Yeah, I do believe that, and that's why I am fighting for A Christmas Carol. So
now I guess we should move on. It's a Wonderful Life. This is my dad's favorite Christmas movie. And I think personally, It's a Wonderful Life almost falls into the same category as Die Hard, where I don't know if it is a Christmas movie, I guess, because it gets played during Christmas time. It is set during Christmas time, is why I say it falls under the Die Hard thing. It is a movie set during Christmas time. But I don't think it is a Christmas movie because it's a movie about somebody who's going through hardship, who wishes he was never born, and being shown a world in which he was never born. I don't necessarily think it is all that much about Christmas,
right,
as it is how important a person can be to the world. You know what I mean? Like,
fair enough.
Like, again, I get it that they're celebrating Christmas. That's the whole deal. The whole movie is set during snowy Christmas time, but it's more about what happens to George Bailey when he wishes he never existed, and like what the world would look like without him. You know what I mean?
Right. And they've done that. I guess they've done iterations of that throughout time.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, look, that's probably that story is probably just as big as A Christmas Carol because, like, you haven't seen the It's a Wonderful Life story done a bunch of times, but you've seen the theme of the story done a bunch of times, where like a character in a TV show or another movie is like, I wish I never existed, and then boom, they show you what life was like when they never existed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, look, Santa Claus 3, which I don't know why they even made that, but the Santa Claus, it was on last night for a hot minute. I watched a little bit of it, and that was exactly it. Oh well, I wish I was never Santa Claus. You know what I mean? And then it brings you back, and now you've got the world with a different Santa Claus.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it. I do get it. Where it's been really utilized throughout the years in pop culture as well, maybe differently than the Carol. You know what I mean? Carol straight up. You know what I mean? That's the same story.
That's what I mean. I don't think. I think A Christmas Carol is literally a movie about Christmas. It's about showing and bringing somebody putting somebody into the spirit of Christmas. And I think I feel like It's a Wonderful Life is less about Christmas and more about how people are still you're still important to your loved ones, even if I think it's more of like a
feel good.
I think it's more of a feel good like anti-suicide movie, to be brutally honest with you.
Really,
I think it's a movie trying to say, hey, even though things look hard, you are still important. You aren't you can't just there's only one of you. There's only one of you as a person. You just yoinked from life would drastically change everything else that's around you.
Well, and that you're a gift to your friends, families, and loved ones.
Exactly. I think that movie says more about that. Says more to that narrative rather than Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
So if we yoinked that completely out of
I think
existence.
you can do It's a Wonderful Life at any time. It doesn't have to be a Christmas movie. Like if you yoinked It's a Wonderful Life and put it in the middle of the summer, or took it out and made it a Halloween movie or something, like I think you could take that idea of a movie and use it at any time throughout the year. It doesn't have to be a Christmas movie.
Interesting.
Unless I'm wrong. If anybody's here that wants to refute me on that, who's more knowledgeable of It's a Wonderful Life than I am. I've seen it a few times. My dad loves that movie. Feel free to hop in the comments, but I don't think it's more consequential than A Christmas Carol.
No.
I don't.
I honestly thought you were going to fight for it.
No, look, it's probably a polarizing Christmas movie because it's either somebody's favorite Christmas movie or they absolutely hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually am one of the few that's in the middle. It's like I could give it or take it or leave it. I don't hate the movie. I don't think it's a stupid movie, but I never looked at it as a true spirited Christmas movie.
Right.
Because it's not Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's not Santa Claus is Coming to Town. It's not Elf. It's not A Christmas Carol. You know what I mean? It's not any of those things. It's barely in reality, it's barely a Christmas movie.
Fair enough. Well, look, I think you
could have done it during Valentine's Day.
From what it seems like is there really is not a big argument about this. I think that A Christmas Carol obviously is winning this. I mean, maybe we'll cut the show short today. What do you call it? At the end of the day, I mean, in terms of if you plucked it out, the same thing. Like A Christmas Story. What do you call it? Elf. Like if at this point in time, if we plucked any of these out, would it make a difference?
I think A Christmas Story would, because A Christmas Story is literally like middle America. This is how we celebrate Christmas. Like that.
Right.
That's what I mean. Like those are all movies about the spirit of Christmas. Like
right.
Elf is Buddy the Elf going to the city to save his dad, find out why his dad's on the naughty list, and give him the Christmas spirit, show him the Christmas spirit, and get people believing in Santa Claus again. The Christmas Story is literally about middle America Christmas. It's about the kid Ralphie and his life leading up to and through Christmas.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Exactly. And I mean, it gets played 24 hours on TBS that I'll probably watch on Christmas Day.
I completely forgot that the lead singer of AC/DC was in that movie. You don't know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what you're talking
about. This is the little kid. What's his name? Butch or something. He walks around. He's got the hat on and everything.
Isn't that Schwartz?
No.
Oh, the short. The kid that's with Scott Farkas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a joke.
Yeah. But It's a Wonderful Life is the only, I feel like, Christmas movie that isn't necessarily a movie about the spirit of Christmas. It's about something more than that, or something other than that. It just happens to be set during Christmas time when George Bailey is freaking out because he wants money. He needs his money to like provide a good Christmas for his family and a life for his family. You know what I mean? I believe that's kind of sort of how this happens.
Fair enough. So, listen, anybody who's in here, if you're in the chat, you're watching live, what do you call it? I mean, we pretty much put it out there. So if there's no arguments, we're probably just going to end the show early because I think we've got it here that A Christmas Carol is more consequential to the spirit of the Christmas holiday season rather than It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, and It's a Wonderful Life could very well be a good movie. I mean,
it's a very good, and it's a movie with a nice message. It's just I don't think it's a Christmas. I think it's a fringe Christmas movie at best.
Fair enough. We probably should have done like Home Alone and something.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, what do you call it? Listen up, people. It's been a fun time. What do you call it? We're 20 minutes in, so rather than wasting 10 minutes of absolutely nothing,
we're a little more than 20 minutes in. We're probably a couple minutes over 20. Rob, thank you for the share. Much appreciated.
There we go. Thank you so much, Rob. What do you call it? But what do you call it? We will see you again next week. What do you call it? And I think what we're going to do next week is come up with a couple of the characters that we've done over the past year, and then pit them against each other.
We could probably do that. Yeah,
figure out who's most consequential over all the characters that we've done. Anyway, as Mr. Greer always says,
rate, review, subscribe. Please, 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 please like, share, follow the streams on Facebook, on YouTube, and Twitch. Do all that, please. And if you're watching on the replay on YouTube, please hop in the comments. Let us know what you think is the most consequential, or the most inconsequential, I should say. And yeah, no, that's really it. Thank you guys for being here. The more interactions you get, the more people will see these videos.
Absolutely. And please make sure to check us out, the Grindhouse Radio, every Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, on anywhere you get your podcasts. What do you call it? You can also go to thegrindhouseradio.com. Check us out there. We also do a ton of other awesome shows. Monday nights, or Mondays in general, you can catch the Magic Kim Tom. You can also catch on Tuesdays. You can do Within Brimstone, or I also do the Dirty Little Secrets Clubs. Definitely check those out. And Wednesdays live every single Wednesday. Again, we're trying to hit that right sweet spot of time. We're not necessarily there yet, but we're edging in on something. You'll catch Truly Inconsequential. So, and then Thursday's Grindhouse Radio. That's about all the time we have, guys. We love you. We'll see you later. Have a fantastic holiday, and be good to one another.